All right, today is week 5, day 1. Yes, we're going to talk more about React. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I don't know why I clicked present. But we need to talk about what we're going to do over the next couple weeks, okay? So we got a lay of the land. This week is going to be a review of what we did last week. What are some of the things that we did last week, guys? Yes, we built components. What did that take? What are some of the key words? Tell me some key words. Pops, okay. What do pops do? Pops, yeah, they affect the state of the component. They affect how the component behaves. So, for example, we can send in, remember the first day we did rock, paper, scissors, right? We sent in a title for the card. Remember, we made one component that time. We did everything inside of Ash. Pops and state will work together, okay? I know that may be unclear, but you guys just need more practice, Also, we called APIs. We called a couple of them, right? And for those of us who did like a lot of different features with sorting movies and stuff, different types of movies, different pages, we called many different APIs. And we figured out how to create new APIs dynamically using things such as a page number. We could have also had maybe a category. Did anyone do categories, like search for movie categories? Search an API, anyone do that? No? TAs, we need homework. We need to grade their homework this time, okay?
So
this one, I want them all to have a pull request. Show them how to do something, show them actual pull requests, and maybe just like a better way to write some code. Okay, so that's cool. Today we're gonna talk about our movie clone again, our IMDb movie clone. We're gonna add a new feature, and very importantly, we're gonna get a feel of what it feels like to read someone else's code. We got to do that. We're going to do that a lot in our lives, right? So you got to get used to cooking in someone else's kitchen. That's what Charles said, and I tend to agree with him on that one. What are you doing here? Come on in. Damn, you guys aren't even tired. You guys aren't tired of me, damn. Okay. So today specifically though, we're gonna build a modal. Okay, a modal. This is what a modal is. When I click trailer right here, we're gonna see a little pop-up. I hope. Come on, baby. What the hell? I just tested this. What the fuck? God damn it. Come on, baby. There we go. Okay, so we click the pop-up, the modal pops up, we see a YouTube video. Okay? Very simple. We see a pop-up, we see something in it. We can put anything else we want in it. Okay? Anything else. But we gotta figure out how to open it, how to close it. And then we'll figure out how to put something inside of it. Oh, and obviously we're gonna be making the correct trailer too. So what's that gonna involve, guys? That's gonna involve an API. I guarantee you it's gonna involve an API. What the? Okay, so let's get this map. All right, so do you guys want to do it on my code, or does someone want me to take their code and to do the feature on it? Okay, take someone else's code. All right, fine. Who volunteers for having me read your code live? Anyone? Anyone? Fuck it, man. I'm just gonna do mine. I'm gonna keep it simple, man. I want to keep it simple. I want to keep the variables. You guys probably, with all due respect, I'm pretty sure I have a simpler code. Maybe. I don't know. Wrong movie. Okay, so here we are right now. We have a button. I click this button. It does not fire. How can we make this fire? We need to look for something. We need to look for the button. So we're gonna look in our app.js because this is the parent of all components. we know that inside this component, there's always going to be something we're looking for. I look through the code, I see movies, okay? That seems to be specific on what it's doing inside of a movie app. I can hold command and click it. Did you guys see what I just did right there? If I hold command and I click it, it just hops me over to that file, okay? I'm looking through the component again. All the components follow the same structure. They need to be exported, imported. They're defined as functions that have bodies. And each one of these functions needs to return valid JSX. That's one of the core ideas behind a component. They all have to return some JSX, which styles the application. Okay, so we're looking at our variable names. We're just kind of getting a feel. We can see that inside of this function, inside of this component, we map over our props. And inside of these props, we return some JSX for each one of these elements, okay? For each one of these elements. Inside of each element is a movie object. We produce some JSX using each object. And then inside of here, we find our button, okay? So let's go ahead and add an onClick. Click. Pass it a function as its argument or as its property. Test line 25. Okay. So if I click it, I expect to see that fire. And it did in fact fire. Okay. So now the question becomes, how can we add a modal? I think there might be one. I don't remember. I think there's a different library actually, because I remember in this class that Charles said that he wanted us to use get used to using many different libraries, guys. There are many different ones. There's Moment, there's React. You guys are gonna have to use libraries. It's impossible for you to build apps without using meaningful libraries. And I'm gonna show you guys this right here. This is an app I built this weekend. And I've been thinking about like who we are as people, just like some coaching real quick, is that the thing is that you guys constantly need to be working on your craft and building all types of different apps, okay? And this is involving all the different things that we talked about, calling API requests, parsing data, getting to, like, you know, like the exercise I gave you guys with JavaScript exercises, that's what we do here. You know, we get some data from an API, we parse the response, and then we just draw it on the screen using components. Okay, and using many different types of functions, working together. Okay, so yeah, so we're talking about, we're gonna use a modal. There's a different one he wants us to use, this one. All right, so this is the one we're gonna use. So we're gonna stop our server, install the library, and you guys can check that your package has successfully installed by opening up your package.json. We should see something in here that says modal momentarily. And there it is, modal on line 10. If we look at our, our Git history, we can also confirm that that's what happened. Get a bootstrap added and a modal. Okay? I want you guys to constantly be looking at this one right here. I actually don't do that enough in class, I'm sorry. What'd you say? I just do Control P and then type in the name of the file. Okay. Periodically, you guys will need to delete package lock. This one right here. You should never ever touch this file. Every now and then you need to delete it. And this folder right here, node modules. Certain bugs in the software will result in this. Okay. Just a high level overview of what it takes. So anyway, we see that we got React modal, and we can see an example right here, right below the installation instructions. We see an example. So we're going to jump over to our app.json. We're going to import it at the top. Okay? It's complaining that we're not using it. That's cool. We're going to do that right now. So we'll copy over this entire example. Oops. Okay, copy over the entire example, paste it. I don't even care what it does right now. I need to see it work. Okay, we didn't turn on our server yet, so we'll do that. I'm running multiple React applications, so our port numbers change. Ooh, we got some problems. So we got a problem on line 68, right there. It tells us handle. Okay, let's just go ahead and type it in. Handle after something, right? I think that's what it says. Handle after open. I'm gonna jump back over the code editor. Control F. Fine. Okay, I see that it's complaining about this. So I'm just comment it out. But now that I'm here, I see that this one here also has a problem. Let's go and comment that one. Okay, save. We have 2 more problems. And then we see that our server is no longer complaining. My hypothesis is that this will work. Okay, so it's working, but I don't see a modal. What's the problem? We need to open it, right? Oops. Now I think we need to read the documentation because I don't remember what the problem is now. I think we need to add a component on the inside. So we're gonna read the documentation. We're gonna look at it. We gotta read these properties. We're gonna read it. Style. Okay, I think we need to add a style. Let's go into this. We're gonna Google React modal style. I think this is it. Is this it? No, that's super old. Overlay. This is the example right here, I think. So we're gonna find overlay. It is. Come on, baby. Dog, did I not click it? Why is this working? We have a modal. All right, we're gonna have to start deleting, guys. Don't be scared to delete code. When you guys delete, copy examples like this, that's the reason why I want you to just copy the whole thing, because you can delete it and then you can just copy and paste it again. You know, and then you're gonna figure out what these things do along the way. Okay? We're gonna debug this together. I felt pretty confident that we can do this. Should data. Yeah. Here's the documentation. How to show React modal. Okay, I think this is it right here. Pretty sure this is it. And copy these to the very top. We're just gonna experiment. That's what we do as developers. We experiment with our code. We can always do Control Z. Oh, we got a complaint right here. Okay, we got a complaint. Backdrop style, modal style. Okay, so we're specifically looking for this one. For this one, I'm sorry. This is how we're gonna learn how to use new libraries. But I already read the documentation. This is the 2 ones that we're most concerned with right now. Okay, is open and style. These are the 2 most important properties that we need to think about with this modal. Does anyone have any questions? No? Come on, man. Overlay. Okay, backdrop, modal style. Content. There we go. Okay, we got a modal. I'm sorry. I should have deleted most of the code at the beginning. I fucked up. Okay, so we got our modal. All we had to do was do 2 things. Actually, we had to do a lot of things. We had to Google. We had to read the documentation. We had to Google again. We had to look at an error message. Then we Googled again. Okay, that took all of like 15 minutes. Okay, so I want you all to do that now on your projects. All right, so what do we have so far? We have an application that when it loads, there is a modal, okay? We hard-coded the value of how it opens, right? Right, we hard-coded it right here online. We're looking at the wrong code. On line 74, obviously we change this to false. This will be false. So now the question becomes, how can we get this modal to open inside of our app? Right? We need to change this value dynamically. So we're gonna look at this dot state dot is open. Okay? We're just gonna pass that value. And now, because we have that value, we need to give it a default state. So we're gonna say false right here in our state declaration. So our application now loads, it's false. So how can we get it to open? Well, we need to define a new function. We're gonna call this one open modal. Okay? Then we're gonna do this dot set state, pass it its required object, pass that object the key that we want to change, then we're gonna do true. This is the simplest way we can do this right now. It should probably be called toggle, because whenever you open it, you also want to close it. Yes?
So it always has to be true. If it's false, it's not going to open.
Correct.
Because it's a boolean.
Correct. So how can we get this function to fire? Open modal. Well, we need to pass it to our movies. Why? Why do we want to pass it to movies, guys? Why am I not passing this to container? Why am I not passing it here? Why am I passing it to there? Exactly, because the button that I want to fire, where I want to fire this thing is inside the button, and the button is inside of the movies. So we're gonna pass it here as a property. Okay, we just passed this property, which is a function, open modal. Okay, so now we can look at our movies. If we console log our props, console.log props, I expect that we receive one additional function or property. Look at our props. Open modal. There's a modal right there. There it is. It's hidden right there. Open modal. Okay. So now what are we gonna do with this? We're gonna pass it to right here. We're just gonna pass it to the place that we looked at earlier. Line 26 now. We look at props. Open modal. Okay. We save it. We refresh. I guarantee you, I click this, it opens. Whoops. What happened, guys? This dot set state is not a function. The problem is what we talked about last week on Thursday and Friday, binding. Okay, on line this function is not it's not an anonymous function on line 64, and neither did we bind it on line 65. So if we bind it by putting it inside of another function and then firing it inside of there, I think it will work. And it does in fact work. Okay? So that's not useful yet. You never ever want to have a modal that can open but that cannot close. Okay? So now we need to do the inverse. We're gonna say close modal. What are we gonna do here? Yep, we're gonna set it as false. And then we can pass this as well. Oops, no bad. Except this time, we're not passing it to modals. Why? Why are we not passing this to modals? Because we have a modal component. We need to pass it to that, right there. And we look at our documentation again. Close. Request close. Okay, so we just looked at the documentation, we read the comments, and I think this is the property. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest with you, but we're gonna try it. We save, we click the modal, we click down, and it does in fact close. Do you have any questions, anyone? Okay, we can click any of these. And we can close it by clicking outside. You guys can change this how you want. Maybe you don't want it when the user clicks the outside, it closes. But that's my expectation, so that's how I'm going to build it. Some people have little boxes. Obviously, we can make this modal bigger, right? Right? Can we make it bigger? Can we change the background color, etc.? By just looking here, right? We don't want that. We want it kind of transparent. That's how all modals behave. Okay, I want you guys to think of this, right? Modals, I'm sorry if I was not explicit enough in saying this. Modals will cover the entire screen. They cover the entire screen, and they can listen to any event a user clicks. You know, so the modal is always there. So we need to give it a background. We can make this wider. So one is the backdrop style. The other one is the actual modal's width. Okay, so we're gonna change the background. How can I make this width bigger? Obviously, I can just fuck around with these styles, right? Say min width is what? 190 view width. Okay, save it. Here we go. Okay, here we go. We got a modal. Okay, so now the next step is what? We're making it it work as a trailer preview, right? So I'm going to tell you guys right now, you should go ahead and look at this right here. Let's go ahead and look at this documentation. I found it for us. This is how we can make a request to an API to this API to get a list of movies, right? A list of trailers for each movie. I'm sorry, this is where it's confusing. This is the API. You got to read the documentation. I know this can be confusing, right? This is quite confusing, even to me, and I've done this for a long time. So what I advise you to do as someone who works with APIs as a developer is document every single API you work with. So what did I do right here? I want to use an API, right? So I just tested it. I copied and pasted. I put in the keys that were appropriate, the API key, the correct route, and now we're gonna test it to make sure this works. I expect to see 200 if it works. Oops, I'm past the limit. Fuck. Oh man. You guys are all using my keys, aren't you? Yeah. Who here signed up for another key? Fuck, man, everyone's using my keys. Okay, there it goes, it works, okay? There we go, we got a key. And inside of here, inside of this response that we got, what are we looking at, guys? What key am I interested in initially? Are we interested in ID on line 2? No, that's just a random number. We don't know what that means.
Line 15.
We're interested in line 15. Maybe. I'm not sure. Actually, we're not. We are, in fact, interested in line 9. But the first thing I want you guys to know is that we're interested in this key called results. Okay? That's what we're interested in. Inside of results, we see an array. Inside this array, we have a bunch of objects. How many objects can go inside of an array? An infinite number. So we got to get a good idea of how it is mentally we're going to parse our data, okay? So now we can see that this function fired, and it was successful. So we're going to go back to our app.js, and we're going to add some new logic to our open modal. We're going to say fetch. We're going to fetch some data. I'm just going to hard code this right now, okay? And we're going to add it, and we're going to call it what? Response equals, okay? We're going to say const JSON data equals await response.json, okay? What else are we missing? Missing an async, okay? So if this went well, I expect us to have this data, okay? So just console.log our JSON data. So I save it, hop back over to our IMDB clone, and what do we see? When we click this, look what's gonna happen in our console. Did not save it. Open modal. Oh, I just stopped the server, my bad. I kind of got ahead of ourselves. Sometimes I was gonna install the library first, but I want us to get the data first. Sometimes you guys can draw it on the screen first, sometimes you get the data first. You guys do whatever you want, I don't care. Make it work. Do whichever one you guys want to do. So we can see that when we click it, what do we get inside of here? In JSON data. The object that we need from our API. And we're interested in only our results key. And you guys will notice that the results key is an array, right? Yeah. So they could potentially be 2, they could be 10, they could be 20, right? And we don't know which, do we always want to get the first one? I would make the argument no. I want to randomly just select one inside of there, Maybe if they were sorted, if someone could guarantee me these are sorted on like the best of which trailer is the best trailer is in the front, then I would start from the beginning and move to the back. Right? But right now, I don't know which trailer is the best. So I'm going to make an executive decision as the person who's running this show that I'm just going to randomly select one. JS, random, select from array. Okay? So we see, we're going to copy and paste some. Here's an example. Copy. So we can jump back over to our code. And what are you going to do here? Okay? We see that it's complaining. So we can just fix this. JSON array dot results. Right, JSON array dot results. And I'm gonna say this is our random trailer. Okay, random trailer right here. Okay, so we delete our console logs as we go, and the last thing we're gonna do is do what? Just look at it. Not the last thing. I don't know why I even said that. There's always more to do. Okay, so we're just going to look at the object at this point. Okay, click. You see that our data came back, and we have this data. Okay, specifically we're looking for this key, but let's look at our library. I'm gonna link you guys. Here's the library we're gonna use. Okay, you just install it. Run this command right here, npm install. Remember, npm is a package manager. It's an entirely different tool which manages code for us. It's gonna get us copies of code. It'll manage which version of the code. You know, it has its own different versions and etc. And there are many tools just like it. So we're going out to the internet and we're getting this these packages. Okay, so we successfully ran it, and let's just copy the example. Let's do our import. I'll paste it to the top. We'll copy the simplest example. Let's see if this works. Where do I want to stick this component right here? Inside our modal. Oops. Come on. And this needs to be. Okay, that looks good. Here's the simplest example. Let's see if this bad boy works. Okay, we gotta start our server again. Remember, we stopped it to install. Now we're starting it again. We click. Okay, we got a movie. But this key is broken. I wish there was some way we could figure out the correct key. I'm reading this documentation. We have a video. The value is a key. How can we fix this? We're just gonna write some GS6. Okay. So whenever this modal pops open, right? We're gonna take this movie random trailer. We're going to do what, guys? We're gonna look at its key. We're looking at this one right here, the key, okay? So we do dot key. Come on, dot key. And I'm gonna add this a new piece of state. We're gonna call it, I don't know, movie trailer key. You just paste it right there. I'm writing this code very sloppy, guys, just because I want to keep it simple. Let me clean up as I go a little bit. Okay, and I guarantee you, in just a moment, whenever we click this thing, we're gonna have a value inside of here now, inside of our state. So we are logging our state inside of our render function. We refresh our page, we click get movies, and let's look at our state. Do we have a movie trailer key? Yes, we do, right? Yeah. So where does this need to go now? This needs to go inside of our movie trailer video. I think. It might be a different prop, but we're about to figure out whether or not this works. Okay? We're just gonna make it up as we go. Movie trailer key. Save it. Okay, refresh. Click, go somewhere. And there we go. Okay, what's the next step? We need to make this bad boy look decent, okay? How do I update the style? Style. Size. The documentation is not explaining to me how to update the style, guys. With? Okay, there it is. Thank you. Okay, so let's so how wide do we want this? Can we do 100% view width? Let's say 80% view width, okay? 80% view width. Please work. View height. Save. Drop back over here. Click. Oops. That didn't look good. Let's do 500 pixels. Let's just experiment, guys. It's okay to experiment. Save. Click. Okay, that looks kind of better. Right? So let's do fine. Let's do percent. 90%.
구체적으로 뭐가 문제예요?
여기 한번 봐요.
Go somewhere. There we go. Is this trailer working? Yeah, hold on. Ghost, it should be good, Goodfellas. Why is the trailer the same every time? I've done something wrong.
핸드폰도 다 끊기고.
Why is it always the same trailer? Why is it always the same trailer? I'm confused. Is it movie ID? It's video, my bad. Okay, it's video. Right here it says the prop is video. Oh, 1 second, let's see it. Fine, let's experiment. Okay, so let's give it a default state. It's complaining now. React is complaining that this thing does not exist, and we're trying to figure out how long it is. So you can't do that. We gotta give it this default state. Okay, it's 11 characters. Oh, is this not changing? Oh, my bad. Okay, I forgot.
핸드폰도 다 끊기고.
Okay, so inside this function, where is it at? Inside this inside of open modal, I hard coded the video ID right here. Yeah. Do you guys see that? I hard coded the video ID. So, I'm sorry, I was just trying to do something. So the problem becomes now that we need to tell the modal which movie trailer to open. So it's a very good thing that we siloed off our code, because now we can think about, okay, well, where did we define all our information about our movie? And that's inside of our movies thingy, okay? So let's go ahead and look at this. Let's go ahead and look at our movie, okay? We see a whole long list of them right here. What do we need here? We need the ID, okay? I think we need the ID. I'm pretty sure we need the ID. And we're gonna do what with this? We're gonna pass it to the open modal. Right there, very simple. So where is this argument going to go, open modal? Is it gonna go on line 67? Huh? Who says yes? Wrong. It's gonna go down here. It's gonna go down to this function right here on line 93. So it's not going to be passed. Watch. So we're gonna look at open modal. We're just gonna look at ID, okay? It's console.log ID. So save it. I click it, and we see that ID is undefined. Right? The reason why that is because inside movies, this function right here, props open movie, corresponds.
끊기고.
야, 김기태.
어떻게 생각하셔?
아버지, 저는 이게 위조나 범죄라고 생각.
This function on line 26 corresponds not to the function on line 67, but rather this one right here on line 94. That's where the ID is going to go. Okay? So let's go ahead and delete. Watch. Let's just prove it. So if I click it, I expect now us to see the ID. There we go. And I guarantee this number changes. Yep. There we go. Okay, so what were we trying to do when we fire this? We just want to pass that function to what? What do we want to pass it to, guys? To our open modal. Okay, we're just forwarding it. And now, in a moment, we're going to see line 68 that we have an ID. We have an ID there. So if I scroll, click one, we do have an ID. So now what do we do with this ID? Just stick it here. You stick it in the movie ID. So I save it, I refresh. I think if I click on the Shawshank Redemption, I should now see a Shawshank Redemption trailer. Oops. I thought I tested for this already. Okay, now we gotta test to make sure that it's longer than, there is in fact a trailer. If JSON data dot results dot length is greater than 0. Okay? I think this will save it. Please, Shawshank, save me. Oh, my bad. We can't do this. My bad. Come on, Loy. Get your shit together. Shawshank Redemption. We click it. And we see a Shawshank Redemption trailer. Yay. Come on, guys. You're supposed to be impressed or something. Fuck. No one's impressed, man. Fuck. No one even... Wow, man. Okay, so we got a trailer here. That was a 20-minute